Let's bring the meeting into, thank you, into order. And the first thing on the agenda is to swear in Mr. Jack. And we will start. No, we're going to do the pledge first. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to run this show, run it.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Tony can do this one. Short.
Short, keep it short. Oh, gracious, loving Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to live in a magnificent part of your creation. Your creation is magnificent as it is, but you've carved out a little piece here for us, and we appreciate it. Thank you for giving us the wisdom and insight and the will to govern and help govern as you would have us to do. We ask that you continue to watch over our service people wherever they may be and protect them, bring them back home safely, care for their families while they're away. Amen.
Amen. And the first thing on the agenda is to swear in the board chairman.
Mr. Barnes, you will place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I state your name.
Jack Barnes.
Swear or affirm that I will, as a member of the Board of Elections, duly attend all ensuing primaries and elections during the continuance thereof, that I will, to the best of my ability, prevent any fraud and deceit or abuse and carry on the same, and that I will truly make a true and perfect return of such primaries and elections, and that I will at all times truly, impartially, and faithfully perform my duties in accordance with Georgia laws to the best of my judgment and ability. I do further solemnly swear or affirm that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state, or any political subdivision or authority thereof, that I am not the holder of any office of trust under the government of the United States or any other state, or any foreign state which I am prohibited from holding by the laws of the state of Georgia, and that I am otherwise qualified to hold said office according to the Constitution of the United States and the laws of Georgia, and that I will support the constitutions of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
I do.
For somebody who's on the phone, that's pretty active.
And we will now issue the loyalty oath. You again, place your left hand there. I state your name.
Jack Barnes.
A citizen of Pickens County and the employee of the Board of Elections and the recipient of public funds for services rendered as such employee, do hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Georgia, so help me God.
I do.
One more signature. Congratulations
Yes, sir.
again. There we go.
Oh, hello, the chair. Oh, hello, the chair.
Thank y'all.
You're officially in charge.
Good to see y'all.
Thank you.
See y'all again soon, I hope.
Good job.
Meeting over to Mr. Barnes.
I got to sit in this chair actually.
Yeah, is that right? You should put it out there.
All right. Have no requests for public comments. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of the last meeting?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Please sign them, Marcia.
Oh.
Since you wasn't here
Okay.
last meeting. Thank you.
All right. Any additions to the agenda?
I move we accept the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, this is to our old business, early voting. Monday?
Old business was winter weather.
Well, it's got dash early voting, so.
Is that the?
This winter weather dash early voting.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
That's what you're talking about.
Okay.
Winter weather affecting early voting.
That's right.
Have you
Okay.
seen this before?
We talked about, we discussed the winter weather issue back a few months ago, And it was just a discussion on what we could do if the county decides to shut down for winter weather. As it looks today, weather could change, but it looks like the Monday, the day we're opening, is rain and snow. And then Tuesday, the next day, we're supposed to get an inch of snow. So I wanted to see if we could make a decision today so that we don't have to get up and I don't have to start calling each one of you to make that decision. Whether we want to go ahead with the county's decision to close or if we want to stay open.
I think we ought to go with what the county does.
I think that's the best thing, then it's decided, Now, if we had to make that up, there's no way to make it up though, is there?
The only way we could make it up would be to stay open later. Or we do have, like you said, we do have,
2 Saturdays.
well, we have one Saturday, the 20th, we're already voting. We could extend those hours plus the hours through the week.
What has been the practice in the past?
You take the
We've not ever had this problem in the past.
liability of if the county is shut and you're open and they take Humvees to get in there and somebody gets hurt, they're gonna wanna know why you were open. And the better part of it is to be taking the valid part of it and go with the county, I think. What do you think?
Yes.
Well,
We talked about
the email that came down from Chris Harvey from the state said that it was one scenario or one way to think of it is if the law does say that early voting is open under normal county business hours. And if the county is shut down, that is not considered normal county business hours. However, this is a federal election, which, you know how it goes with federal and state laws bumping up against each other like that. So that's really basically, if this were just a county election, we wouldn't even be discussing this. But it's basically because it's a federal election that I brought it up. And Larry just asked, what have we done in the past? And the primary has never been conducted this early. And that's the problem. When they move the primary up, now we're in dangerous territory.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Given that there's a total of 16 early voting days, the missing of one or even two is not going to really inconvenience anybody a whole lot.
Well, it's not the inconvenience, it's what the federal laws say.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's federal law. Early voting's not federal.
And what does it say?
Huh? I don't know, that's what
Early voting is a state.
Different states have different.
Under ordinary
It's not a
conditions,
federal thing.
you have to make up that time.
Yeah, it's just considered a federal, the whole thing, the whole package, the election day, is just a federal election.
The early voting is a state
Yes.
mandate. So I don't think the federal
No,
would affect.
not with that, that's the reason I was asking about the federal part.
Well, see, that's why, when Chris Harvey sent me the email, there's no definitive answer about it. It's not, that's one of those things, although it is a state, you're correct about that, they can't cover every situation that could happen in the code. So that's, weather is not covered in that.
If you contacted the Secretary of State, could you get them to narrow it down, or
They said the decision lies with the board.
with the, okay.
That's how
That opened the door.
That's how he ended his email.
Okay. Given that we have 15, 16 days of the, and I see no problem with having, closing the offices in inclement weather for 1 or 2 days or so. If it were March the 1st, now we've got a discussion.
Yeah.
But for any of the early voting days, I'm not revising. I move that we operate as per the county
I say,
schedule.
A second. All in favor?
we don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We got thousands of people that are putting their life at risk for us to have the opportunity to vote. There's no need wasting one of them, Slick Road.
And you little Jay who's out in canoe, big canoe out.
Gee, that's something we could do.
Okay, Mayor, your motion was to close if the county is closed, correct?
To follow the county,
Yeah.
yes,
No. Thank you.
you bet. Thank you for clarifying.
Get anything else on winter weather? All right, another new business, L&A and election night tech.
Alright, when, our election tech, which I'm not sure how many of you have met him before, the LNA testing tech, his name is Jeff Day. We have had him literally for years. Now, it's the election night tech that typically changes from election to election. We have always really, really wanted to have him because he's outstanding. Nothing ever has happened when he tests the machines and sends them out, so I know his work ethic for election night will be the same way. He lives in Tennessee. He has taken a job in the Atlanta area and will be moving to Georgia. However, cannot dedicate his time to work for ES&S any longer, which would put us out of having him for our LNA tech, and we're still at the mercy of, the election night tech. He has made us a proposal that if we want to, we can use him, but we would use him as an independent, separate from ES&S. Now, I strongly advise that we go that route. He is knocking off some for the price, so we would get him for a little bit cheaper. And he gets to keep the money, whereas instead of ES&S gets to pocket that money that we pay, he would get to keep it. Does that make sense?
They take their share out before they pay the
Now,
check.
Now, I have not signed a contract
You have
with
a contract,
ES&S, and he has not signed a contract, because that's the first thing I said, what did you sign with ES&S? Because I know I haven't. What happens from election to election is we get a sheet that's emailed to me. It's from ES&S. It asks me what services we're going to require for this election. And I check off the services we require. Now, I've already submitted that sheet, so we are bound for this election. But like I said, it's taken election to election. And I think in the long run, we would be better off going that route.
But he'd be doing the LNA testing also.
He would be our permanent LNA tester and our election night tech.
So we wouldn't be dealing with it all of them.
We would not be dealing, the only services that I would still keep with ES&S is ballot printing. Now, any questions we have that arises, he would not call ES&S, of course, like he does in the past. We would contact KSU, which in most cases is the better route to go anyway, because they know the machines inside out.
How much savings?
He can do it for LNA testing. He's quoted $18.95, which is $100 less per election. And for election night tech, he is quoted $4,000, which is $125 less an election. Now, the advantage of having him be independent versus having him through ES&S is if ES&S schedules a date, right? And he's going to show up regardless on that date. And there has been instances in the past where we don't have all our stuff in. We're at the mercy of getting our ballots printed and shipped to us. That's totally out of our control. We're also at the mercy of having our database constructed and shipped to us, and that's out of our control too. If he shows up, he does what he can, but he leaves, comes back, and we have to pay for every day he's here. Now, if we use him independently, he won't show up until I give him the word that we've got everything. And once he shows up, yeah, it's a lot cheaper that route.
And is that per, I mean, I know they're here probably the day before and election day and all that kind of stuff when they do. Is that per election or per, how is that, 4,000?
That's per election.
4,000 per election.
Mhm.
So in November, so he's basically gonna be 12 grand or so for 3 elections.
Mhm.
But that's still cheaper than we pay ES&S.
And that will be cheaper. We have budgeted in this year's budget for the ES&S total. So he's completely covered this year.
I think the advantage there is you know who you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's just the same guy.
And he's
Just
good.
the other place.
He's darn good.
He was good.
He's the one that, if y'all have ever come for LNA testing, he's basically in the basement. If y'all have gone down there and talked to him, or he could be up here, but mostly he's in the basement working. And then, like I said, we've had, I couldn't tell you how many texts election night come through here. And I'll be honest with you, both sides are just, not only are they extremely important, but you gotta kinda hold your breath. Even though he has been doing it for years, you still, you know, until they turn those machines on at the polls, you're like, you know, until they get up and running and people start voting, you know, you assume they're gonna work right and everything was done right, but so far there's been no problems with anything he has ever touched or done for us. The election night tech, that's another area. That's
Don't go there.
that's a very important, we have been sent some horrible texts in the past. And it would really be nice to know that we've got somebody we can put our trust in on both sides.
They don't have any kind of state certification or anything for that particular job.
No. No, because actually we can do away, if we wanted to, we could do away with, we can do it ourselves. But the board decided a long time ago to get it out of our hands, and get a tech in here, that has nothing to do with Pickens County at all.
Hospital bill costs more than getting it done.
All right, we have any further discussion or?
Make a motion that we sign a contract with this lad and use him for, this is gonna be just for a year to try it, whatever. Or
Well, this will be until, we're gonna leave it open.
Open.
In other words,
Yeah.
like, we can let him go at any time and he can tell us by at any time. We're gonna leave it open like that because, you know, if he moves on and, you know, moves, you know, to another state far, far away, of course, he's not gonna be available any longer, but, and we don't wanna bind him to any contract and, you know, if something happens, which I don't see it, but it should have happened, we can let him go. And we don't have to pay any kind of fee for letting him go or whatever.
I have one question. If something happens to him, does he have a backup?
No,
What would we do?
That's my question. Could he put us in touch with somebody that could do the same job, or would we have to go back to?
well, he does have a friend who is starting to work with ES&S now. I don't know if he'll stay with them or if he'll, I could ask him if they'll work, you know, together if something happens. Now, if something happens, but this is like any other tech, they've got all their techs assigned, and they have no more once the election process gets started. If something happens with one of our, let's say the election night tech, I could do it. I can step in and do that. Of course, they wouldn't charge us because the tech wouldn't be here. I can step in and do it, and of course I have ES&S and KSU at my fingertips to call for them to walk me through anything.
Well, that'd be the only one I'd be concerned about,
Yeah,
as far as LNA testing. You know, I wouldn't be concerned about that, because you've got a time
Good time.
frame that's long enough to get it done.
yeah. Now, I mean, I have done it for the cities before, so I know how to do it. It's just because you don't do it every day, I'm a little slow, and you know, it would take me a little bit to get everything wrapped up, but,
But you
but
could do it.
I could step in, and like I said, I would have phone numbers of anybody to call if I needed to, if something should happen to me.
The backup is an important consideration,
Well, like I say, the election night's the only part I would be worried.
major part, yeah.
And
Julie can do it.
we could
That's
muddle
great.
through that, we may be here till 12 o'clock at night or whatever, but we could get through it, I'm reasonably sure.
Okay.
I would say,
Well,
I
the
like the
important thing
guidance.
is protect the integrity of the
Yeah.
election itself.
Right,
And if Julie could do it, regardless of how inefficiently she might be, we could get it done
Oh, yeah.
and preserve the integrity. Nothing personal.
Nothing personal.
Okay,
Okay.
What was the motion?
So the motion is to contract with
Okay.
Jeff. And we'll just leave it open,
Yes.
no, not specify a particular time for LA testing and election night technical services.
with the proviso that if anything happens on the election night, Julie will do it.
And we trust, we put that right.
We're committed.
she is committed and don't know it.
All right, I'll withdraw my proviso under duress.
I'm surprised you know what it means.
So we're here a second.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Who's the second? Who did the
Tony.
second? Larry?
Larry,
I waited, I voted,
Thank you.
unanimous.
okay. All right, upcoming election.
All right, I just have a couple of dates for you. We'll start with today, February the 4th. Tonight is the last poll worker training. The other two poll worker trainings have gone fairly well. And we've got a few new ones coming on board with us because after the election, not really including the 2015, but 2014, we did lose an awful lot of poll workers. A lot of them retired that had been doing it for a long time. So we are training a lot of new ones. They went to training, but then they'll come here and get their badge, and I'll have the machine set up for them to also train on the equipment before they go out to the polls. But that's tonight at 6 o'clock at the admin building.
Hold on. I attended one on Tuesday night, and I thought it went very, very well. Julie and Betty have got this thing well orchestrated and do it superbly.
Well, on your recommendation, I'll go tonight then.
Good. Sure.
All right, February the 8th, which is Monday, early voting starts and runs through February the 26th, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We have one Saturday voting, and that will be February the 20th, 9 to 4. And this is the last meeting that we'll have before the election on the 1st, so I don't know if y'all want to discuss how you'll go to the precincts, or if you'll ride with each other, or you know what you want to do as far as that. Make sure though before you visit any precincts that you come here and swear and sign the swearing-in paper, and you definitely have your badge on. And we did have, I'm not really for sure what the manager was talking about, but did have a manager approach me after the training class, and she was concerned because, and she did not tell me which one it was, but she said a board member come into the poll, and the board member did not go to the manager and identify themselves with the manager first. So I didn't know.
Was it a new manager? Because sometimes, we know everybody that's, general manager, but
And I feel like that's what
I
happened.
could've walked into one of them
I feel like the board member, whoever it is, walked in and was just starting to talk to everybody. No, it's not a new manager.
There's several people that could do that from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, so I guess they feel like they have more control of their precinct if they know, if you come and talk to the manager first, so just please talk to the manager first. Maybe it would make her feel better. you know?
Aren't we supposed to test them on whether they recognize us, ask for a badge, whatever?
Well, she did, well,
That should be done first before we
yeah,
introduce ourselves.
yeah. She didn't say the, board member wasn't identified. It wasn't a badge problem or anything like that, and it was just the fact that
She wasn't spoken to
right,
first.
she wasn't
Okay,
spoken to
understood.
first, like, I think that was her whole issue, so I'm just telling you. Seek the manager out first, please.
This is a male or female?
Came in and signed.
Was
it.
it what?
She worked in the poll a couple weeks ago.
No, was it a board member, a male or female?
I think she said he.
He,
That was the way you're-
that started talking to everybody without introducing himself. I can't believe this.
So anyway, I told her we were having a meeting, and I told her I would pass that along,
Okay.
okay?
Because sometimes I put my tag and hanging down my back.
A lot of times you do that. and
You'd be surprised the one that don't pass. And, you know, the whole.
Well, I tell them in the training class, everybody has to have a badge that, except for the voters. If someone walks in your poll and they're walking around or asking questions, they have to have a badge. They need to be identified somewhere. If I go to the poll, they all recognize me, of course, from working in here, doing the poll worker training, but if I go to the poll, I said, you better make sure that I'm identified.
Yeah, you said that the other night.
So, hopefully that they're catching that right away.
I
Okay, well,
walk in and they
that's
say,
good.
turn your badge over so I can see. I'll turn it backwards.
I'll have those sheets ready for you when you come by to swear in that, tells what y'all are looking for too, so that you can check each poll to make sure they're in compliance as far as that goes.
Is that a sheet we can take with us?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
And, just because y'all hit the precincts before the state gets here. And we just wanna make sure, especially all the signs are up and, the provisional booth is up and, we do have one precinct that I wanna let y'all, be aware of. It's the Tate precinct. The manager, he's the one that was called out of town for work. He's in New Jersey. The lady that I selected to be the manager for this precinct, said really quick that she would be happy to do it. Said she would attend all 3 trainings, in fact, so she could learn as much as she could learn. Then she stopped taking my phone calls. And so I had no choice but to find somebody else, but that's not easy to do at the last minute like this. So what we've decided to do is, there's 2 assistant managers in that precinct that neither one of them are probably interested in actually being manager. But what we're gonna do is we made them co-managers. They have agreed to do that for this one election until he returns. They're very comfortable with each other. They've worked with each other in the past, so I went ahead and called the workers and got all the workers lined up for them. So the precinct is set. It's just when you go, you're gonna have a twofer at this precinct instead of one manager. But all the managers are set for all the other precincts.
Talking Rock at the Baptist Church.
I'm working on that too. I'm glad you brought that up. Talking Rock has a mold issue in the town hall. And that's also, ironically, the second precinct that the manager, his wife is having surgery. And the only day they could have that surgery is on March the 1st. Here I go, back again on May. March the 1st.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah,
So we hit one of his assistant managers who has managed before in the past, Connie. has agreed to step up and be manager, and everything's all right at that precinct, but the mold issue. And unfortunately, in the town of Talking Rock, it's not so easy to come by buildings, especially buildings that are handicap accessible and good for voting. They're having their town hall meetings out of the Baptist church, which is just literally up the road from the precinct. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Cheryl Sams, who is on the town council there, is supposed to speak to the pastor for me. She's real familiar with him and everything, so she's supposed to talk to him. I'm going to get back with her to find out if we'll even be allowed in that building. She doesn't seem to think that there'll be a problem there because it's a temporary solution.
I know a lot of folks down there.
Okay.
Larry Kelly's a pastor.
Okay, yeah. And she says the room they're in, which I believe is the fellowship hall, she said it's actually a nice room for a voting precinct.
Do we need to let the public know about that if it
What-
goes there?
What the law says you have to do, you have to, of course, there's not enough time to send out cards to everybody, but what you do is you post it on various places. We'd post it here. We would go ahead and put something up at the admin building as well. But the important thing, the main thing is that you post it on the door of their regular precinct and tell them where they need to go. Which, like I said, literally is just up the road. Now, the advantage to that is the parking is pretty nice there. The parking is actually better there than at the town hall. Mhm. So Cheryl cannot tell me, you know, how long it's gonna take for this mold problem to be fixed, which is fine, just so long as we have a place to go. So this could be, for this election only, it could be for the next two, we're not sure at this point. But that's the one last thing that I've got to,
But as of right now, you don't have a commitment from the church.
no, Cheryl's talking to him and is supposed to get back with me.
Mr. Chairman, you know the pastor.
I don't want to go over her,
Oh, who?
Cheryl.
Well, I'm gonna get back in touch with Cheryl, and if she said, yeah,
Randy's
he's,
the mayor. Randy's the mayor.
yeah. Well, when I
If
get
they
back.
don't respond, it doesn't matter who they are or what the position is.
Well, when I get back in touch with her, then, and she says everything's okay, she's gonna give me a number for the pastor, and then I'm gonna call and talk with him and get all the details worked out, because another detail we're gonna need to know is, will the church provide us with a key, or will somebody need to let us in? Because that needs to be worked out too.
We're 3+
There's
weeks
a
away.
possibility some of the poll workers there may be numbers.
If a city councilman can't give permission, I don't know that a member would be able to do so.
Just to get into that.
She really doesn't see any problems. I mean, she doesn't think there'll be any problems, but you know, when you deal with, you know, various churches, some of them are real strict what the building is used for, and I totally get that. I understand that, so we want to, but again, you know, if we are turned down, again, there's not a whole lot of buildings that we have to look into in that area. That's handicap accessible too. There's another building, that would be my last resort. If you make a right and you're turning into the town of Talking Rock, there's a building that's not being used immediately to your right.
But still,
Yeah.
I'm sure I remember that.
That would be another, option, but I don't really wanna go that route. But as soon as I talk to Cheryl, I'll send out an email and let y'all know where we are in that process. But I don't really foresee any problems there.
Well, thank you for your efforts.
Anything else on the upcoming election?
Yes. Do we certify this?
Yes.
Is that on the 5th?
George has set a date for March meeting, and we'll wait to do that. Set a date for certification meeting,
And if you wanted to say,
under March meeting.
It can be, if y'all want to do the monthly meeting and the certification on the same day.
All right, comments. I figured you got some comments. Between.
So made mine as we go. The lady never called you back? She just dropped off the face of the earth?
I left 5 or
Tape?
6 messages and I called every single day.
Okay, well, I can appreciate you moving on. Just sort of surprising.
Well, we were getting really close, and I mean as in really close, just a couple of days from the first poll worker training. And really, at that point, had no choice.
Right. I agree with you for moving on. It's just disappointing that someone didn't call you back, but they
Yeah.
didn't, and so you took action. Can we set this into this week as being a point to nail down the Talking Rock polling place?
Yes.
We're only 3 weeks away.
Mhm.
Okay, what did I, when I said that, what did I mean?
Well, Cheryl was supposed to call me back, but I'll go ahead and give her a call back.
Okay.
And if she hasn't not spoke to him yet, I'll just go ahead and ask her for his telephone number and
Jack's good. Is it
and I'll
Larry Kevin?
call him.
Okay. All right. Well, it's sort of important to have a location for a
Right.
polling place, and since they come with such unusual requirements. So, okay.
Any other comments? Okay, March meeting. You want to do it all at certification? Or?
there's no reason to come in, that's what's it gonna be, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, or whatever.
I'm gonna be in South Florida that first week, after March 1st. So
We need to
probably the
certify it.
3rd will be here.
We need to certify it on that Friday or before.
Yeah,
anyway.
certification has to be done on Friday, on that Friday.
That's
What's-
4th.
And you leave on Thursday?
We're gonna leave on Thursday.
Late?
Early.
Well, we'll have a quorum if she wants
Yeah.
to go, no problem.
This is the wedding Saturday. We have to lug our black log down.
See, I mean, but it was scheduled a wedding during the election.
Well, it's not election in Florida.
Well, you ought to participate in this SEC primary. And start waiting till the 15th.
They still
This is the
looking
one
for
in
change.
Michigan. Yours is on the 8th.
All right, do we have a motion to hold our March meeting Friday, May? March 4th
I don't know what y'all do today.
at 4.
That's fine with me.
Whatever.
What
4
time?
p.m.
I'm sorry.
4 p.m.
Should be present by phone, like you were.
I guess so. Why not?
We're gonna have him turn the recording next time.
She's got to sign.
Yeah,
You have Tara's,
I'll give you the phone number.
Okay.
Do we need to vote on that, y'all?
Put it in the minutes.
Put it in the motion.
Got a motion, is there a second? All in favor?
Who did, you get the motion, Jack?
Yeah, I guess. Tom says I can.
Yeah.
I'm glad we waited till the appropriate time for that.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
But you might mention, since we are on the calendar, that qualifying is the next week.
Seven through the 11th.
For offices.
For county.
Nobody has gotten back with us to tell us when qualifying was, so we're getting phone calls, but we can't
The
tell.
parties
them.
haven't.
The parties have not contacted us at all.
7 through the 11th, March 7 through the 11th.
You need it in writing from the chair.
Well, I don't need it in writing, I just need to know the dates and the times that'll be posted in the paper.
Could someone tell me who seconded the last motion?
Right.
Mary.
Thank you.
Supposed to be a notice in the paper,
Mhm,
placed there by the chairman of the parties.
mhm.
Would you mind? Okay. We don't have to do it all 4.5 days, do we?
No, just the days have to be consecutive, that you choose, and it has to be at least 3 days.
Are you the chairman emeritus now? Is that what that is?
I'm just a power broker.
So if y'all, get back with your party and let us know so that when we get phone, especially when we get phone calls, we can tell the people.
We have 10 positions that are open for election
Be
according
aware
to
of
the
the
paper.
qualification thing. We got a thing and I forwarded it to him. Try to
They
remember.
posted it there.
Forwarded it to him.
That sounds about right.
I didn't say candidates, just positions.
Positions, yeah.
And the state positions are qualifications held at the Capitol.
I guess, I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll change that from a question to a declaration held at the Capitol.
Okay,
Okay.
if you say so, I'll take that from you.
By the way, did you see a notice from the Secretary of State that the record registration has occurred in the state of Georgia this year? Did you see that? Based on the heavy registration the week before, the last week before, which is this week. But it said, the blog on the internet said it had record registration in the state of Georgia.
I would believe that because now you can register online. And we had, one day we come in, we had 74 waiting on us when we got here.
Really?
I thought,
Online or in person?
online, that's just online, that's not who
Yeah.
we had in person, and that's not who went to the libraries, who went to the DMV on that day. I spoke with Cherokee yesterday, or the day before yesterday, they had,
Yeah.
one day, they had 1,100 waiting on them when they got into work.
We've had 1,000 people working day and night for a month registered.
So.
Yeah, I saw y'all at the graveyard.
And we are seeing a big increase on people who have never been registered ever and never voted. We're gonna have a lot of first-time voters that aren't necessarily 18 years old, starting with this election.
Could be dead or alive.
Which, excites us because,
Can't do them Republicans, they can't read too.
we hope that they got on the list, we hope they continue, or they start voting and they
Right.
continue, so.
The news media did indicate what you're referring to.
Oh, you saw it also? I think that's a good sign.
All right, anything else?
We hope it's a good sign.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
I
moved.
make a motion. Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
And thank you, Mary, for being here.